Hi everyone, I hope you're all keeping well still. Obviously, a lot of you may have seen the announcement this morning regarding some of the lockdown restrictions being amended for the housing market. Speaking to a lot of people today, many have seen it, but some haven't, and some still have some further questions. So, I wanted to put into a video for you exactly what has happened and also how Purple Bricks will be working over the coming weeks and months, and also how we'll expect people to work who are working with us as well. So I thought I'd break it down into if you're selling, if you're looking to buy or rent, obviously, and then the after sale service as well. From sale to completion. So starting off with if you're looking to sell a property, the good news is that we can now come and actually physically value your property. So as since lockdown was first announced, we've only been able to do this over a virtual basis, so over a video. But we can now actually come and visit you in your property, which is great news. Um, Obviously, we have had guidelines from the government, and we'll be sticking to these. So we'll be, using things like personal protection equipment, hand sanitizers, things like that. When we come and see you within your property, if we're going to have any lengthy discussions, or answer any questions you've got, for example, we'll be looking to do those outside the property to prevent anything being spread inside the property, trying to minimise the actual time that we're inside anybody's home. Um, if we're doing photos and measuring up to take your property to market, then we will ask that you're in another room again to help stop the spread of anything. We'll be keeping a 2 metre distance at all times, obviously, and we would also ask as well, as a measure of best practice, that perhaps the internal doors at least are open, so we're not touching anything. Even maybe that windows are open, so the property is very well ventilated as well. So that's what it would look like in terms of you having evaluation. So we'll be having personal protection equipment. Obviously, we'll be discussing with you prior to coming around if you're high risk, etc. And the other thing is that just because all of this has been lifted to some extent doesn't mean we're stopping our offering of a virtual valuation either. So if you are high risk, if you've still got concerns and you'd rather have your valuation on a virtual basis, then absolutely we'll be discussing that with you first and foremost, and we'll be able to do that for you if that's your preference. So obviously, once your property's on the market and people come to view it, again, we'll give you guidelines if we're doing the viewings for you. That makes it a lot easier. But if you're doing your own viewings, then risk assess anybody that's coming round. Ask if they've showed any symptoms, if they've had any contact with anybody that's had COVID-19 or shown any symptoms of it. Have they completed their self-isolation if that is the case? So ask these questions before people come round. Again, open doors for them so they're not having to touch anything. Ask them not to touch any items. Open the window so the property is well ventilated. Ask them to bring hand sanitizer and personal protection equipment as well to help stop the spread of anything. Again, if you're going to have any lengthy conversations or they've got questions after the viewing, try and minimise the amount of time they're in your property and have those conversations outside wherever possible. Also, again, stay 2 metres apart, absolutely, keeping in line with social distancing guidelines. And also, a bit of advice is just in case anybody has touched anything, obviously, if you're going to stay in separate rooms, you might not have seen that they may have nudged the door handle, etc. So, anything like door handles, light switches that people may have had to move. Is disinfect those with usual household disinfectants in between each viewing as well. So also what we'll be doing as well is limiting viewings to every half an hour rather than any open houses or block viewings, etc. So that's another thing that we would advise, and that's certainly something we'll be doing to help stop the spread. So on the flip side of the coin, if you're looking at a property to buy or to rent, then ask yourself, has anybody, again, had COVID-19 or any symptoms that you've come into contact with? Have they and have you completed your self-isolation? If the answer to either of those are yes. Are you high risk? Again, as we're doing with the valuations, we're absolutely still offering a virtual service as well. So if you are high risk or you've still got concerns, then we can send you a video tour of the property. None of that stopped. So this is all about offering people the choice. And if you are still looking to operate on a virtual basis, then that hasn't gone away. It's just obviously more ideal if you can go and visit the property. But if you're high risk, then do your own risk assessment, but put your health and safety at the top of the list. Use your own transport. So, say for example, first-time buyers who aren't currently living together at the moment and not able to self-isolate together, don't car share, because it again increases the risk of anything crossing over from households. So, try and use your own transport. Bring your hand sanitizer to use in between going in and coming out of properties as well, to decrease the spread of anything. Don't touch any items within the property. Again, if say for example that we've discussed doors being open for you, if one's not open, perhaps give the vendor a shout, go into a different room, and then let them open the door for you. And then obviously after that, don't touch your face either. May sound simple, but again, personal protection equipment. Bring gloves, bring your face masks to stop the spread of anything. Bring your own water and writing utensils. May sound silly, but especially if you've come a long way, we're getting into the warmer months now. You're not going to be able to ask for a drink inside that property, so bring a water bottle. And again, you're also not going to be able to ask for a pen in case it spreads anything. So bring your own writing utensils as well. So hopefully that gives you all the guidelines if you're selling, and what to do with your viewings, and obviously if you're going out to view properties, what to do as well. After sales service. So another announcement that was made, or part of the announcements that were made this morning, is that surveyors can also continue their work now and actually physically go out and visit properties. So of course what that means is it's a great step in getting the ball rolling quicker. It's been a bit of a bit of a wall to get over in recent months since the original lockdown, but they can now go and visit properties to do those mortgage valuations, so you can get your mortgage approved and move the process along. Solicitors mostly these days operate over the phone or email anyway, so hopefully that can continue, but limit contact there with video calls if need be. Key handovers, again, disinfect keys when it comes to completion. Try and avoid contacts, and maybe invest in the key safe. Disinfect the keys, pop them in the key safe. On completion, then the new buyer can be given the key safe code, so there's no human contact there or any risk of the keys being touched by anybody else in between. So hopefully that gives you an overview. We've told you how we'll be looking to operate. I mean, we absolutely will be following all of those guidelines, whether we're coming out to value your property or whether we're showing you around to view somebody's property. But just some hints and tips there. So fantastic news for the property market. All of this means that we can kickstart things. We've already seen, even today, a spike in the level of people that have got in touch to market the properties, a spike in the level of people looking to view properties. So word certainly has got out there, but at the same time we do need to prioritise the health and safety of our staff and all of our clients and prospective clients as well. So please do follow the guidelines. But yeah, fantastic news for everybody involved. Hopefully we can see lots more people start the exciting process of moving into their new home over the coming weeks and months. If you've got any questions or concerns, as you always do, feel free to write in or give us a call. Thanks guys, and stay safe.